Hello and welcome to the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast. I am Tony fucking G. Close to being a dozen-time champion. I will have that belt back tomorrow. That is my solemn promise to you. Tony fucking G, running solo here at the RWP here tonight for the Elimination Chamber Predictions and Preview Show. Phil and Chicken are both kind of tied up tonight. Phil is going to be kind of indisposed, so we'll see if he can even get on for the review tomorrow, but I do have his picks, and the champ, well, he'll be around at some point. I'm not sure exactly when we're going to get the review out. We're going to watch the show. Probably going to take us all day to do so. Again, this is a Saudi Arabia show. It's an early morning thing. At least it's on a Saturday, I guess. We're going to get it watched. We'll get it reviewed, and we'll be back here probably tomorrow night at some point with some form of review. It's not going to be anything groundbreaking, folks. Like, this is not going to be one that really etches out the record books by any means. But there's some real potential for some strong matches. It's going to be probably a 4-hour show. You know they stretch these Saudi shows out. But again, I am Tony G. This is the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast. And here I am, to predict and preview Elimination Chamber, as well as some other things that are going on in the world of professional wrestling. So, without further ado, let's get into it. And yes, Tony motherfucking G, Justin Chris is absolutely correct. And the next thing you could do that would really be fantastic, like, share, and subscribe this stream. Subscribe to the Facebook page of Big Buck and Empire. Subscribe to the YouTube channel of RWP. Need all the help we can get. Serving the shadow ban. We always are, because we're a little bit too controversial, but what are you going to do? So, again, without further ado, oh, Jeremy Cooner, did you just dump stars at me, sir? Ah, cheers. Thank you much. I am a fool and out camp. Hey, I can't blame you. It's pretty damn nice out today. Not bad at all. So, I've got, unfortunately, it's not, again, this is nothing groundbreaking. I didn't have to have them record videos because there's very few discrepancies on the matches with what we all picked. Big shocker here. A lot of the favorites are going to be the ones that walk away here. So let's get into it. I'm going to start kind of at the bottom of the card, and I'm going to work my way up. So I don't know if this is going to be the opener. I don't even know if it'll be on a pre-show. I don't know. But a match that just doesn't need to be happening. For God's sake. Poor Drew McIntyre. Going up against Madcap fucking Jobber Squad Moss. This is so stupid. The second time in a row on pay-per-view, Drew's pulling jobber duty. I don't. This guy beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. He was handpicked to be the next big attraction, and COVID really fucked this guy's push-up something fierce. I feel bad for him, but obviously this is a Drew McIntyre win. I got Drew. Phil's got Drew. Chicken has Drew. This match shouldn't be happening. I'm hoping that Drew can find himself in a WrestleMania-worthy program, but at this point, I'm kind of afraid that he's going to end up being on Baron Corbin duty come WrestleMania season, and golly, wouldn't that be great? Jerking the curtain against Baron Corbin after going against Brock Lesnar of all people. Like, I feel bad for Drew. Anybody wondering, I am polishing off a bottle of Redneck Riviera whiskey. Nothing special, nothing fancy. Good bargain sipper. All right, moving along the card, we are going to go to Rey Mysterio versus The Miz. Phil and Chicken both have Rey Mysterio, and I'll be honest, that was my go-to pick as well, but the thing that I'm flipping to The Miz. I'm going with The Miz. This thing got personal, but with Miz accusing, going back to the well and saying, hey, Dominic's Eddie's son. So, a little callback there. Gets personal. So I'm going to go with The Miz because he just finished a program with Edge where he ate 2 losses, once heads up, once in the intergender match. I was kind of expecting a trilogy there, but, Edge shut him out. So I think The Miz has to bounce back here, and they don't have really any qualms beating Rey Mysterio. They don't. They don't. At this point, Rey can eat a loss, they feel like, and it's not going to hurt his legacy. So I'm going to go with The Miz, just out on a limb on this one. I don't know why, just a gut feeling here. So, nothing special here. This will be a decent match. 2 vets. Okay, next. This one, we got a little discrepancy on the picks here. Ronda freaking Rousey and Naomi versus Charlotte Flair and Sonya Deville. This one got the stipulation that, well, obviously Sonya's got her arm in a sling, so she's got a busted wing. So the stipulation has been added that Charlotte and Sonya get to obviously have both arms, but Ronda Rousey has to wrestle the match with one arm tied behind her back. To me, this is a clear out. This is a clear way of one of two things is going to happen here. This is going to make Ronda Rousey look like an absolute monster being able to beat up two girls with one arm. Or this gives her a way to come out looking strong in defeat where Naomi still eats the pin. She's going to come out looking amazing, kicking ass with one arm. Naomi takes the loss and she'll be like, oh, God, we would have won if I would have had both of my arms. So I'm actually going to go with Charlotte and Sonya. I think they're the underdog pick here. Uh, Phil actually has Ronda and Naomi. He's picking the favorites. It looks like Charlotte and Sonya. Let me double check that. I might have that backwards. They sent me their picks earlier. Just want to be crystal clear that I have the correct picks. Chicken has Charlotte and Sonya. Phil has Ronda and Naomi. Okay, so we've got a little discrepancy there. It could come down to this match, folks. I'm not expecting this one to be great. All right, honestly, this is going to be kind of one of those freak show matches where Ronda's not exactly a veteran worker, and now you're handicapping her with one arm. So this could go badly. I'm not expecting Ronda to be involved much in the match. Seriously, with one arm, I think Naomi's going to do most of the heavy lifting here and probably eat the pin. That's what I'm thinking. But yes, again, I'm picking Charlotte and Sonya with the nasty negative heelish tactics to get one over on Ronda, really piss her off before Mania, where obviously Ronda's going to beat Charlotte. We're assuming, but yep, that's really one of the only matches we have any discrepancy on. So it could come down to that one. Good luck, Phil, picking the favorites. Me and Chicken have got the underdogs in this one. Going down the card, we've got the Usos defending the SmackDown tag titles against the Viking Raiders. No surprises here. All three of us have the Usos. And to really hammer this one home, Viking Raiders got their headgear back on the go home SmackDown. So they were standing tall at the end of that. So that means that, yeah, the Usos are going to retain. This will be a good match. Viking Raiders, really kind of underrated. Really strong team. They've been made to look like complete and utter jackasses over the last several years, unfortunately. But God, what a good team. They really are. Had a lot of hope for them when they finally got to the main roster, and yeah, then they did that dumpster movie match with Street Profits, and never recovered. Won't get into that. God, I actually need a drink now. What could have been? Okay, moving along to the Raw Women's Championship match. Becky Lynch defending it against Hall of Famer Lita. Honestly, I'm hoping for a good match. Becky's finally found her groove. Now, when she first came back last summer, I don't want to call her rusty. She had a little bit of jitters, let's call it that. She was a little out of sync at times. And Lita's not exactly a full timer. Hell, she's barely a part timer. So this one could go badly. I'm crossing my fingers here because this is a dream match. It really is. Becky Lynch versus Lita, like this is a banner match. This could be something really, really special. If both these girls are on their A game, this could be a strong contender for one of those most memorable women's matches of the year. If they're not on, this could go really, really badly. So I'm hoping, I'm praying. I really want this one to be good. But yeah, across the board, me, Chicken, and Phil all have Becky to retain. No way they're going to put and Lita kind of spoiled the ending here, inadvertently, indirectly during an interview. So no, this is Becky all the way. All right, another no-brainer match. We assume. Let's see. Roman Reigns defending the Universal title against Bill Goldberg. This match was supposed to happen at WrestleMania a couple years ago. COVID happened, and that did not. Braun Strowman ended up taking Roman's spot and the title. And that kicked off the reign of the Braun Fiend debacle. And then Roman came back, and he's been on top ever since getting that title back. So really, it's kind of been it's been pretty cemented between these guys. Like this 2-year build it kind of all came back around. Bill had the belt. He beat the Fiend for it, right? Dropped it to Braun. Braun ends up dropping it to Fiend. Roman comes back, wins it, and he's held it ever since. Do you think there's any chance in hell that Roman Reigns is going to drop the Universal title after this historic run to Goldberg this close to Mania? Not a chance in hell. Not going to happen. This is Roman Reigns all day. I'm hoping they have a good match layout. I don't know what to expect here. I'm honestly not expecting a very long match. You're going to see a bunch of spears. You're going to see some Superman punches. You're going to see a botched jackhammer, more than likely. They're going to go through the barricade outside of the ring because that spot's almost as overdone now as the Spanish announce table in the Attitude Era. So it'll happen. Anyway, this is Roman Reigns' match. He's going to win this. He'll retain. And this is going to be probably fairly quick. Maybe 5 minutes, if that. I hope so, anyway, because you don't need Goldberg out there for 10 to 20 minutes. Okay. Elimination Chamber matches. Let's start with the women's chamber match. Now, the winner of this match will be the number one contender heading into WrestleMania to challenge whoever, wink, Becky Lynch, the Raw Women's Champion is. Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Doudrop, and Nikki Ash, not really. Okay, so with the chamber matches, we're doing it a little bit differently. You get a 1 point pick and you get a half a point pick. The 1 point is the one you expect to win. The half point is your underdog point, probably not going to win, but if they do, hey, great, I got a half a point. So, this could go a few ways. Obviously, no champion in the match. They're setting up who's going to be the contender heading into Mania. So out of Bianca, Alexa, Rhea, Liv, Doudrop, and Nikki, there's really only a couple names there that really stand out. Bianca was the one that Becky Lynch came back and just devastated her, like ended her run. She won the Rumble, goes on, wins the belt at WrestleMania. Becky comes back, drops her in seconds. It really flatlined her push. She has not survived this loss. I mean, they tried to book it strong with the rematch, but to be honest, no. Becky kind of squashed her push, and that's not on Becky. That was on bad creative. So this would be a perfect opportunity to save some face, get Bianca back in the spotlight. Could she win again? I mean, why not? Alexa Bliss has been unfortunately hamstringed with this awful supernatural shit, and the Fiend's not even there anymore. So now she's rehabilitated, kind of, sort of, not really. I don't know where they're going with this poor girl. I love Alexa Bliss so much. I would love to see her be the sassy bitch champion again. Rhea Ripley, God, what a star she could be. And they brought her up to the main roster, and they've essentially done nothing with her. They've just not pushed this girl. And they have a star right there in the making. They just won't pull the trigger. What a better time to do it than this? Liv Morgan, fan favorite, absolute fan favorite. Like she couldn't have a bigger following right now with the cult fans. So I think it makes perfect sense. She's come up short how many times? They still love her. Doudrop, no, sorry. Doudrop and Becky had their match. There's not going to be a rematch there. And Nikki ASH, you had your title. You're not going to be the champ again. Hell, you're probably never going to be the number one contender again. I'm just sorry. Yeah, cheers. So who does that leave? In my opinion, I don't think it's going to be Liv. I'm sorry. I just don't. So I really think that comes down to Bianca, Alexa, and Rhea. To peel the Band-Aid off, me, Chicken, and Phil all pick Bianca Belair as our 1 point pick. So this thing's going to be a wash if Bianca wins this thing. She seems to be the favorite. It makes perfect sense. Get her back in the title picture. Try to salvage some of that push that they really hurt when she was looking so strong. She's never been the greatest on the mic, in my opinion, but good God, what an athlete, what power, and she's got a hell of a presence in the ring. So I think it makes perfect sense to give her the win here, get her the number one contendership, get her back into Mania, fighting for a title. Again, we've all got her as our 1 point. Little discrepancy here on the half point pick. And now I'm really torn. Phil KOE is picking Rhea Ripley as his half point pick. That's who I was picking as my half point pick. I might still. Chicken is picking my girl Alexa as his half point pick because if I didn't pick Rhea, I gotta pick Alexa. So I'm torn here, but I'm unfortunately going to go with my gut. I don't think they're ready to put Alexa back in that spot. Unfortunately, I'd love to see it again. I love her to death, but I'm sticking with Rhea. If you're not going to pull the trigger on Bianca, it is time, far past time, to push Rhea Ripley as the star. Like, just do it. Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley. That's a match. Okay, we've done Bianca twice. Maybe it's time for a fresh matchup. Duh, it's WrestleMania. Come the hell on. I I almost picked Rhea as my 1 point, to be completely honest, but just even before seeing these guys' picks, I had Bianca as my 1. So I'm sticking with that, and I'm sticking with Rhea as my half-point pick. Which brings us ultimately to the men's Elimination Chamber match for the WWE World Championship. Bobby Lashley defends the title against Riddle, Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins, AJ Styles, and Austin Theory. The WWE title has been kind of one of the only good things being booked in this company. Like, there's actual surprise here. There's actual bewilderment when it changes hands. You don't really know what's going to happen. Like, some booking decisions were forced on them, and I think it's been one of the best things in the company, honestly. So the belt surprisingly went off Big E onto Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar drops it back to Bobby Lashley after he had a really good run with it the first time. Now he's defending in the Elimination Chamber. Will Brock Lesnar get the belt back? Will Lashley retain? Will Rollins get back? Will AJ get back into that world title picture? Or will Riddle or Theory get into the world title picture with a fluke win? Anything could happen in the chamber, right? Well, you would think, but yeah. Myself, Chicken, and Phil, all of us are picking Brock Lesnar as our 1 point. You would you would think the favorite would be Bobby Lashley, but it's Brock Lesnar. It's Brock Lesnar. I think they're going back to the original idea. Well, not the original. Maybe the original, second original. Yeah. I think you're going to see belt versus belt. I really do. I think you're going to see title versus title, maybe a unification, maybe not, at WrestleMania between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. So I think Brock Lesnar is going to come out the victor, champion again. It just cements just a great legacy. And this run by Brock Lesnar right now, God, it just looks like he's having so much fun with it. The guy does not really enjoy being around people. He has anxiety, as he's been saying out in public now. He's kind of opening up a little bit. But God, what a run this has been. Easily my favorite Brock face run of his career. It's just so goddamn goofy, but so much fun to see this giant behemoth genetic monster playing around like he's actually enjoying himself for once as a baby face. So kind of love it. Hello, Scanner. What up? What an original match. Yes. Not a lot of originality on this card. This is a filler pay-per-view. Sorry. Premium event. We don't call them pay-per-views anymore. Yeah, not a lot of originality on these Saudi shows. So it's gonna be an all right show though. Usually they deliver on some of the matches, and this one's gonna be a good one. The men's elimination chamber match will be a good match. Riddle's not gonna win. They're gonna tease Theory. He's not gonna win. As much as I love AJ Styles so much, he's not gonna win. And Seth Rollins is definitely not gonna win. So it really just comes down to Lashley and Lesnar for me. And my half a point pick, I'm gonna stick with Bobby Lashley, and unfortunately, so is Phil. So it comes down to Chicken's half a point spot. He's going with AJ Styles. That is a dark horse pick there. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see AJ with the belt again, but I think it's too close to Mania season. So, yeah, I could just as easily flip my one and my half points around Lashley to Lesnar and other way around. But no, I I feel like it's going to be Lester's night. I think we're going to see that title versus title at Mania. They're going to do something big for night 2, and it's going to be Roman Brock, both belts on the line. I think that makes the most sense. So Roman's going to retain against Goldberg. Lester's walking out of the chamber, the champ. You're going to have an epic title versus title match at WrestleMania, and probably you're looking at Charlotte and Ronda headlining night 1. That'd be my guess. So Heading into Mania season, this is the last big stop for WWE along the way. I hate these things being in the middle of the day, but is what it is. We're gonna get this thing reviewed, watched. We'll get you the review out sometime tomorrow night, one form or another, and we'll rate the matches. We'll break it down. We'll tell you what happened. We'll tell you what we think is going to happen heading into Mania. So, all that being said, we do have a couple other things to chit chat about real quick before I sign this thing off. Not bad at all. Speaking of WrestleMania, it was just announced, as expected, heading into Mania season, the headliner for the 2022 class, the Hall of Fame, the living legend, The Undertaker, is going into the Hall of Fame. Is there anybody more deserving than The Undertaker to be in the Hall of Fame? And what a career. And I'm so glad that we've got crowds again. We're going to have a full WrestleMania crowd, a full Hall of Fame crowd to really give The Undertaker a true, meaningful, heartfelt, attended send off. Because when The Undertaker was not forced to retire, but do his farewell at Survivor Series in front of a crowd of nobody, a crowd of video screens. God, that was bittersweet. I mean, you watched it and it was just, it tugged at the strings, but at the same time, you're like, this has to happen in front of a crowd, doesn't it? Not the Thunderdome, not the TV screens. And it really just hurt me knowing that was his send off. Well, he's getting the Hall of Fame induction. He's gonna get so much time during the Hall of Fame. Everybody's gonna be watching this. This is one we've been waiting for years. The Undertaker going into the Hall of Fame is going to be a pretty bittersweet, memorable moment. And I don't know if I've looked forward to a Hall of Fame as much as I'm now looking forward to this one, and God knows how long. I don't even care who else is going in. I'm sure there'll be some fun surprises and a shitty celebrity, but it's all about the Undertaker. So excited to see this. You watch that Last Ride documentary, you remember some of his final match. You're like, God, nobody's ever going to be able to copy what he did. Nobody's ever going to mean as much to the sport in the way that he did. Nobody is going to protect their gimmick in their career again that the way he did. It's just so many landmark achievements to hang his hat on, and what a landmark career. What a better class could there be? It doesn't. You could put the fucking gobbledygooker in with him, and it's not going to matter. It's all about the Undertaker. So, congratulations, Undertaker. Cannot wait to see your Hall of Fame induction. Speaking of surprises, earlier this week, big surprise: Cody Rhodes gone from AEW. The speculation is just running rampant at this point. He's gone. Brandy's gone. He's no longer an EVP. He's gone completely, but they're still showing him on the Go Big show during the side-by-side commercials during Dynamite. Tony Khan's tweeting, "Thanks, Cody. You're so integral to this company." Dustin's out there tweeting, "Gosh, I'll miss you, but no, I'm not leaving AEW." And Cody's finally speaking up, but not really saying anything. The speculation being that he's expected to sign with WWE very, very soon. A lot of suspicions that he could show up at Elimination Chamber. He won't. Why would he? Could show up on Raw to start a WrestleMania program. He won't. He could show up on Smack. Not going to happen. He could be. Now the new speculation: he's going to sign up with fucking Braun Strowman and EC3 and start a new promotion. That's also not going to happen. Why did he leave? Well, Tony wouldn't pay him enough money. Bullshit. He would pay him whatever fucking money he wants. Well, they didn't like Brandy in the locker room. Well, no shit. That don't mean they're going to leave. Not everybody hated her. Right? I mean, Red Velvet seemed to like her, but no. Again, I said this earlier in the week. This is a work. This is a work. You are being worked. And I'm so glad to see that kayfabe isn't completely dead. I really am. But this is a complete and utter work. They're keeping his "we wish him the best in future endeavor" papers happy. Yeah, no shit. Facts. Tony Khan did not future endeavor Cody by any means. This is a work. I'm sticking to it. This is 100% part of the storyline. I don't know if this means Cody shows up at Revolution as a heel. I don't know if this means he's going to take time off until Double or Nothing. I don't know how long he's going to be gone from AEW, but he's going to be back in AEW. And I speculated earlier in the week that if he did somehow magically, some way manage to sign a short-term contract with WWE with the full intention of going back to AEW later this year, that would be amazing. That would be incredible. I would love to see something like that happen. I don't see them being able to work out a deal like that. And if he does up in WWE, what a disappointing step backwards. Is there anything more just blah? Like, this guy went out of his way to start independent promotions, made a name for himself on the indie scene. They do all in. They start AEW. He makes himself just this outlandish, over the top baby face that I wasn't a massive fan of to begin with because I think he was overdoing it. And I said that from the get go. Finally, the crowd caught up, started hurting his feelings. Now he's gone. Wink, wink. To end up back in WWE after all of that, you're not going to be Stardust, probably. But really, what kind of push? Oh, yeah, massive push. They're speculating. No, there's not going to be a massive push if Cody actually went back to WWE. I'm sorry. Intercontinental title, which means jack shit these days. Seriously, nobody cares. You almost forget that Nakamura had the belt up until tonight when Sammy won. It's just, he's not going to be in a WWE title program. But what is he going to lose to Brock Lesnar, lose to Roman Reigns, doing jobs to Goldberg or Lashley? It's just nothing really in this company makes sense for him to do. He's not going to come in and revive NXT. That product is what it is. I'm sorry. Cody will be back in AEW before the end of the year. I guarantee you. Probably sooner than later. If anything, you'll see him overseas. New Japan maybe doing a program there. And then he'll be back in AEW. But I think he's just taking time off to do filming to really hype up a big storyline when he does eventually come back. Doubling down on this, second time this week. This is a work. This is a storyline. And I'm glad to see so many people buying it. But the amount of ass ache over this, people are losing their minds. People are literally having mental breakdowns because Cody turned his back on AEW, or hating on Tony Khan because he wouldn't offer him enough money, even though they were just booing Cody not that long ago. It just, the amount of mental anguish over this is bewildering to me. But then again, Cody if this is indeed a work and people are losing their minds this badly over this situation, you know what? That's something that has not happened in wrestling for far too long. The last thing I think I saw was Cody's going to come back to WWE and with a couple other people fire back up like Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman, fire back up the NWO. If they were going to do something like that, I could maybe get on board with it, but it'd probably fall flat like most of the NWO iterations in WWE did, and more recently, it'd be more like Retribution. So Cody better stick to what he knows. Go back to AEW. Just temper it down on overbooking yourself in your matches. You'll be fine. The crowd will take you back. Cody will be back in AEW. Mark my fucking words, folks. It's going to happen. So, with all that being said, last thing. WrestleMania, it seems to be, reports are saying, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Kevin Owens is all but a done deal at WrestleMania. I'm a little bewildered by this because at one time we were really, really going to try to make it to Mania this year. And then they really watered down the WWE product to the point where, God, it's just not, is it even worth it? Then they said it's going to be 2 nights after all, after it was only supposed to be one. I'm like, oh, man, I don't know if I want to commit to this one. Maybe next year they'll do one night. It'll be way better. We'll hold out for that. Well, now the Undertaker's going in the Hall of Fame. And now supposedly Stone Cold Steve Austin is going to be having a match in Texas. And now I'm kicking myself in the ass for not going to this year's WrestleMania. God, it would have been incredible to see that. Austin's going to slaughter him. Yeah, if this match happens, I don't even think it's a done deal yet. I'm with you, Steven. I don't know that it's going to happen. I think this is a lot of early speculation. That's a done deal. If this does happen, if anybody will recall back to the Rock versus Eric Rowan several years ago, literally bell, rock bottom, 1, 2, 3, bell. I'm guessing that's what this match will be. Bell, kick, stunner, 1, 2, 3. And you know what? The Texas crowd is going to throw the babies in the air over this. It'll be incredible to see Stone Cold Steve Austin back in the ring, even if it's just a stunner and a 1, 2, 3. I don't think you're going to get a full-blown match here if this does happen. But if this does happen, we could finally see something that we thought we would never, ever, ever, ever see. And that's Bill Goldberg and Stone Cold Steve Austin competing at the same WrestleMania with a chance to set up a program between the two. I said this earlier in the week. Austin Goldberg, if you're going to do it, if you're going to bring Stone Cold Steve Austin back, and you're going to book Goldberg for a few more matches, what you do with this, how I would book this. Austin, obviously, kicks shit out of KO. Stunner, 1, 2, 3 wins. Goldberg, on the other hand, is going to be coming off of a loss tomorrow. Goldberg could start setting up a program with Stone Cold Steve Austin. You could do this thing over a year. You could build this thing up for a full year and have Stone Cold versus Goldberg at next year's WrestleMania. That probably headlined with Roman Reigns versus The Rock, let's be honest. Wow. Just the mind fuck that is that concept in 2022. Never thought I'd say that could be a possibility, but we're staring down the barrel of a legitimate possibility here. And yes, Battle of the Baldies. And I gotta say, seeing Goldberg and Reigns square up tonight as SmackDown went off the air, man, Roman Reigns looks like a monster compared to Goldberg. Goldberg's not small, but damn, Reigns is big. I'm oozing mentally at the thought of actually getting Goldberg and Stone Cold in a match. And I know they're both well past their prime, and I know it's not going to be the match that it could have been 20 years ago, but I don't even care. And if KO and Austin have a match, I'm still going to fangirl out like you wouldn't believe. It's Stone Cold Steve Austin, for God's sake. Come on. What do you do? So I'm kind of excited to see what happens tomorrow at Elimination Chamber. See what matches get set up for Mania. Again, we're expecting Becky, probably against Bianca, maybe Rhea. We're expecting Roman Brock, belt versus belt. We're expecting Charlotte versus Ronda, probably headline the first night. A lot of good things could happen. Probably no Cody. Don't get too excited. If he does come, how about Rollins? Seth Rollins and Cody. There you go. Book that feud. If he's dumb enough to actually come back to WWE, Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes. Do that. Anyway, tomorrow, noon Eastern, Elimination Chamber from Saudi Arabia, WWE. Premium event. Premium live event. Oh, God. So, like, share, subscribe to the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast, to this channel. Get notified to the Facebook page, Big Buck and Empire. Be back here tomorrow. Turn on the notifications. Stay tuned because we will be back tomorrow with the results, with the review, and hopefully, even though all our picks are basically the same, you will see Tony G with the belt on my shoulder once again. So, all that being said, thank you very much for watching me solo again this week. It's becoming the Tony G show, and you know what? There's worse things in this world, right, folks? I mean, really. I'm pretty great. So, again, like, share, subscribe. Stay with us. Check with us tomorrow for the full-on review of Elimination Chamber. And we're on the road to WrestleMania. Cheers.
And see if it just smooths itself out.
Back, tell you what I'll do. If I ever get back, I promise to refabricate you, raging rivers of gold.